I started gymnastics when I moved from Korea. I moved when I was 7, and I went to summer camp when I was 8 years old. And the coach instructing the program and my parents, they thought that it would be a good idea to enroll in a sport where it teaches grace and elegance and femininity, and as well as be open to experiencing the Canadian culture and be more, I guess, socially aware of Canada, because I was a new immigrant, and learn English and all of that. So I started when I was 8. At first it was all fun and games. You go there, you play with your friends, and then you toss a couple hoops and balls and whatever, and then you come back home, and it was fun. But then when I was 12, my coach I guess advised me that I had abilities, or I was okay at the sport, and so they advised me to move to a higher national level. So I started competing nationally when I was 12, and then from there I learned a lot about myself, how much it takes for me to break down, how much I can push myself, what my limits are, so much. And one thing that I took away most from the sport is body image. So in a sport, in rhythmic gymnastics specifically, it helps if you're not necessarily thinner and lighter. So lighter boned, kind of like sticks. It helps if you're a stick. And that's not naturally that's not who I am. I'm a little bit more stockier, and that was something that was really hard for me to overcome, because I would always compare myself to these other girls who were like that, and it took me. I didn't understand my my beauty and my natural, how amazing I was naturally, until after I stopped gymnastics. And I think it's really important, especially for young gymnasts now. You may not be as thin as you like, or as short as you like, or as tall as you like, or meet the requirements of that sport, but I think that what you have to do is use who you are and use that to your advantage. If you play basketball, for example, sure, you may not be 6'7". Sure, you may be 6'2", but you're able to move faster and maneuver between those, lankier people. If you, for example, gymnastics, if you're not as thin as, the other girls, you're able to have more power, and I think it's a beautiful thing to be able to use what you've got and show that to the world. Who knows? You may change the norm of the sport. So that's one thing that I had to kind of battle. Another thing is I was competing at a competition in Vegas. And then I ended up injuring my spine. And so when I came home one day, my legs just went numb, no feeling whatsoever. So we went to the emergency, and the doctor said, no more for you. And that was a really hard pill to swallow, because it's something that you've grown up with. It's something that built who you are as a person. It's your reputation. It was everything for me. I gave up a lot of my school life. I gave up a lot of my social life. I gave up a lot of my family life. Gym was basically my home, and my home was my second home. And so just having that kind of taken away from me so abruptly with no warning whatsoever, it was oh my God, what do I do now? And it took a while for me to process that, and it was hard for me to process that. but it also, like, every experience that I had in the sport of rhythmic gymnastics, whether it was good, bad, hard, or easy, they've really built me and changed me to who I am now. Like, if I didn't have that injury, then I wouldn't know how to overcome, something being taken away so easily. I'm able to deal with breakups a lot easier because I had that. If I didn't have, the whole thing about the body image, I wouldn't look at all these, beautiful edited girls on social media and brush that away. Whereas some people are so affected by those kinds of things. So I'm always grateful of the opportunity that was given to me. And I'm always grateful of the sport. Such a beautiful sport. And so now that I'm coaching, those experiences kind of shape me to teach these young girls body positivity, gymnastics isn't everything. How important it is to be nice to your peers, how important it is to have a life outside of sport or outside of school or whatever they are doing. But yeah, that's basically my story.